What is up, everybody? Welcome to this week's episode of the Dense Pixels podcast, episode number 300, which is still crazy to say and to have it be happening. I am joined by Micah.
Hey.
And by Carrie.
What's up?
Terrence regretfully is having some internet issues tonight, which really sucks because he should definitely be on this one of any of the podcasts, but it is what it is. Can't stop technology from fucking up, apparently. 300 episodes. I am still struggling to wrap my head around the fact that we've done this that many times. And then some.
Yeah. We're great. And, our longevity proves that.
So I just want to say before we get into it, because we did a big What Do You People Want? Just to thank everyone who listens and has gotten us this far. And for all of you, especially those of you in the fan group, densepix.com/fans, this show would not be a tenth of what it is without all of you guys and chiming in with questions and just kind of staying engaged and making a little community that we have built. So again, thank you all very much. And we will be with you for the next 300 and then some as we go along here. So, real quick. So let's get right into what we've been playing. Carrie is unfortunately still playing. You have the new expansion for Monster Hunter that you probably
I'm on PC. Iceborne isn't out on PC until January.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
How is that possible?
I don't know. I'm very much looking forward to getting there. In the meantime, I've been running the event quest this week, so I've been doing the Arc-Tempered Zora Magdaros run, which is really hard when you're playing with randos who don't necessarily always know what they're doing. But I've been getting some good loot, a really good loadout now. And again, if you play Monster Hunter on PC, let me know. I'll play Monster Hunter with you. So
I'm shocked that they didn't come out with the expansion yet for PC. Did the game release on PC simultaneously?
No.
Okay. Very, very weird.
It's fine because now I will be able to go into Iceborne with all of the knowledge from the few months that it will have been out on console. So I'll be able to go in with what I consider to be an advantage.
Well, and hopefully squashing of any bugs that might pop up at launch as well. I've been playing the new updates for Tetris 99, of which they have made some substantial ones. So the biggest thing they added is mostly daily challenges and stuff like that. So now there's tons of different skins in the game finally that you can buy. They used to only be able to get skins through monthly events that they used to run. Now you can actually get other skins with tickets. The way you earn tickets is by completing daily challenges. There are 4 daily challenges available per day, 2 of them in the regular online battle mode, and then 2 of them gated behind the paid offline modes that they have in the game, which I still haven't felt the need to buy, because if I'm going to play Tetris 99, it's going to be the online competitive mode. They've added different player icons, which is nice because the icons in the game before were weak sauce, and you only got them based on leveling up. Basically, every 10 levels, you would get a new player icon. Well, they have a ton of different ones now that you unlock that are it's basically an achievement system because you unlock them by doing different things in the game. And then the biggest upgrade for me personally is that they have the new, I think it's called the Tetris Maximus mode or Invictus mode or something like that.
I think it's Invictus.
Okay, where it's a special online mode of the game where you can only access it if you have ever won a regular online battle mode of Tetris 99. So of course,
for you,
I have not.
So as I call it, sweaty Tetris. So exclusive that I've yet to play in a match on there that got full of actual players. So what they do is they'll fill in as many human players as they can, and then do the rest with CPU players to get up to 99. I think the most I've ever had in one match up there is 60 some odd people. It's mostly the same. It does start off faster. The starting speed in that mode is probably the speed that you're at when you get around 50 or 30 in the regular Tetris mode, and it only gets more insane from there. So it is definitely a little bit higher degree of difficulty. No, I have not won in that mode yet. I actually haven't even finished out placed in the top 20 in that mode yet. So that one's definitely a little bit more stiffer competition as far as that goes. But great updates. And again, I haven't technically paid anything for this game because you get it for free if you have the Switch Online service, which I can't believe is a year old already, as we found out last week. The other thing you get for free with Switch Online is free NES games and now SNES games, which is a real problem because I'm playing far too much Link to the Past right now.
Yeah, I was going to start on that when I saw that that was available at launch for SNES Online. Then I said, you know what? I got a plane ride on Thursday. I want to play it in the airport. I want to play it on the plane, and I will start then. However, I have been playing Super Mario World.
Yes.
So,
Carrie, I sat down to play 2 nights ago. I sat down when it was available to play the first dungeon in Link to the Past. I said, we're going to finish the first dungeon, and then we'll put it down because I don't want to burn myself out on top-down Zelda because Link's Awakening is coming out. I am now in the 6th dungeon in the Dark World as we speak. I literally have only 3 dungeons left to go before the game is done. So,
well, it's a great game.
It is a great game, and it's amazing how fast I can play through it because I'm pretty sure that get where I've gotten to, I've only put in like 5 hours so far. So that is Link to the Past, the greatest Zelda game of all time. I'm sure people will say Ocarina or Breath of the Wild, but those people are wrong. It is still Link to the Past is my favorite for sure.
I'm literally wearing my Link's Awakening shirt right now.
Well, you only got a couple weeks, less than a couple weeks to wait. Week and a half to wait.
Yep.
So very exciting. Micah, tell us about your adventures with the Xbox Game Pass.
So yeah, I was convinced. I say convinced. It doesn't really take much convincing when I kind of half want to do something. By a couple of people in the fan group. I believe it was Michael and Aaron. Forgive me if I got your names wrong. But yeah, they were like, hey, yeah, I think Michael said that he was playing Gears, and I asked him how it was. And then they were like, hey, why don't you just get Game Pass? It's $2. You could play all of Gears, the Ultimate Edition, for $2. So I said, all right, you know what? I'll sign up. And the good thing is, if you sign up, I guess now, if you're listening to this relatively recently, when it drops, you get 2 months for $2, and any Xbox Live Gold that you have will be grandfathered into the subscription. So I had Xbox Live Gold up through November, unbeknownst to me. And I have Xbox Game Pass up to the beginning of the year because that's when my gold plus 2 months is over. It's a really good deal if you don't mind playing old games, and it's as a service. I don't know if I will keep it. Just because the selection of games is not it's okay, but everything that I would have wanted to play, I already bought, and the things that I don't really care for, like I still don't really care for them. Like I don't want to play F1 2018. I don't want to play Fable Anniversary. You know what I mean? Like I don't want to play Farming Simulator 17. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And I'm being a bit of a dick. Like they have pretty good games on here, like the new Devil May Cry. They have damn near the entire Halo collection on here, except for Reach. They have Just Cause 3 and 4. Those games are mindless fun. And they have Gears, which is a brand new game that, as of this recording, you can't buy at retail. You can play it early. And they also have Blair Witch. I think Blair Witch came out very recently. So as a service, if you don't play a lot of games, but you just kind of have this thing, and you don't really want to like play first run games. I mean, it's a pretty decent service, but the selection is it has a lot. It's a lot to be desired for me, and so yeah, unless Microsoft starts pumping out like first party title after first party title after first party title, this service isn't necessarily for me. And then once the service is over, like if you let it lapse, you can't play that game. You can't play Gears. You know what I mean? So it's a decent service, but I would have to see. Right now, it feels like an experiment to see how many people they can hook, and I'm just very curious as to the rollout of games. I don't expect too many third-party titles to be on this thing day and date, and I mean, maybe next gen with Microsoft buying a bunch of studios, and a lot of first-party titles will be added to it. But then I get the feeling that, well, first party titles, if they start cranking out first party titles, then I start to think, well, would they even put it on Game Pass?
I mean, that's kind of what their whole thing has been right now.
Right. But I mean, I don't know. I
think the other big problem here too is that there's a lot of lost value. So like when you get off of your trial period, it's $15 a month to get Game Pass and Gold, and they don't have a extended option for that. Like you can't buy you can't pay $100 to get a year.
Yeah, that was my thing. I don't mind doing stuff like this, but I want to prepay.
Right.
I don't want a bill. And theoretically, you can set it up so that you can purchase money and leave it in your Microsoft account, and then set up your account so that it will take money from the Microsoft account first.
Well, and apparently too, like you can. So apparently, if you have Game Pass Ultimate, you can buy regular Xbox Live Gold cards, but it doesn't. It gives you like lesser time, and it's a weird. So like, if you buy a 1 month Gold card and you're on Ultimate, then you get 4 months of Ultimate. Like you're literally just paying.
Yeah,
you're
the
time
wasting it.
Right.
You're wasting it. The only way you should be doing that, buying Xbox Live Gold, is if you have not signed up for Game Pass yet. Like if you have not signed up for Game Pass and you can get Xbox Live at like a deal for up to 3 years as of right now, like let's say you hit like some sort of sale or something like that, and you get a year of Xbox Live Gold, which retails for what, 60? Mm-hmm. Let's say you get it for 40 and you buy 3 years of that. That's $120, right? You can do that, then get the $2 deal, and then all that time that you bought will be grandfathered in. But that's a lot of running around to do. If you get and like you said, if you get the Game Pass, the Ultimate Pass first, and then do that, then you're literally giving them money.
Right.
It's a very weird like nebulous setup that they have. I don't think they really thought it through yet. But like I said, this feels like a litmus test for what could be something maybe fleshed out a little more come next generation. Mm. But look, if you don't play first run games and you're very casual about your video game playing, yeah, it's cool. It's actually a pretty decent deal. But I like to play this shit when it comes out. I will play a game for hardcore for a week and never touch it again. And that's just my own way of throwing away money. So, but yeah, that's Game Pass. It's still kind of odd But and then a lot of the games they have are either games with gold games or games that, I'm a multiple console player, so take that for what it's worth. But like they're games that I get for free via PlayStation Plus. So a lot of these games I have access to without the Game Pass already. So it's I don't know. It's a pretty good deal if you're a one console player who's just kind of casual about their game playing. But if you are, I mean, I hate casual and hardcore, but I don't know what else to say. So if you're more of a hardcore gamer, I don't know if it's a good deal yet. But the whole reason I got it is because I wanted to play Gears 5. And, I like the Gears series. I actually like it a lot. I didn't care for 4 too much just because 4's the characters were fine except for JD. He kind of got on my nerves, but that's my personal hang up. Everybody's acted well and the characterization is fine except for JD because fuck him. And but the story was very lacking. And I know that's going to sound stupid, right? Nobody buys Gears for the story. Well, I do. And the pacing was off. And it just meandered. I got about halfway through and then I just kind of gave up because they weren't really the story didn't kick into gear. I start up Gears 5. I look at the previously on, right, where they recap the events of Gears 4, and holy shit, it gets really interesting in the back half of the game. That's just piss poor pacing. Well, Gears 5, from what it appears right now, I haven't gotten too far in it, they've rectified that. And they make things feel interesting. One of the other big hang up with Gears 4 for me, besides the story, was the moment-to-moment encounters. They weren't fun, and they just weren't fun. The enemies weren't interesting to fight. The Swarm were just reskinned locusts, but dumber. And then you had to fight these robots called DBs, and they move and act like robots, like slow moving targets. So, and that's not fun in a stop and pop, for a stop and pop game. It was just boring. And the first part of Gears 5 has completely rectified that. And we see these characters that like the Gears stories, while I like them, they're not good, but the characters are really good. The characters are what drives this series, believe it or not. It's just a bunch of walking penises with feelings, right? but the characters are what endear you to the series. And for now, it feels like they got the story part straight. It plays like Gears, which is a compliment, because Gears has a very unique feel than any other shooter, and they've done nothing but perfect it. I'm amazed that this tried and true gameplay has constantly been refined and perfected, and little quality of life stuff. It's good. The new mode that they have in Gears 5 is called Escape. It's a co-op mode with 3 players, where Horde is, a group of players trying to survive a wave of enemies. Escape is you are in a room. You start off in one room, and then you have to kind of navigate this maze to kind of get out. And there are random encounters from enemies. And what makes it a little different is you don't have a lot of ammo. It's kind of like a survival element, right? Because when I first booted up, I see this character running up and start punching these dudes. I'm like, what are you punching them for? Just bop, 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 bop. And then all of a sudden, I ran out of bullets, and there's none to be found. And if you're playing with randos like I did, you better hurry up and figure out where the ammo is, because everybody's going to snatch that shit up, and you're just going to be SOL. It's fun, but I think it would be more fun if I have people to play with. So if you're on Xbox, find me, and we can play together. But so far, Gears 5 is a lot better than Gears 4. I miss the series. It's been way too long since I've played it, and yeah, I'm digging it.
And by the way, if you are in our fan group, if you go to denspixels.com/fans and look at the pinned post, you can find Micah's Xbox Live credentials, so that you can add him up if you want to play some Gears 5. And then quickly, River City Girls is a side-scrolling beat 'em up that you've been checking out.
Yeah. Look, it's a side-scrolling beat 'em up in the vein of River City Ransom. It takes place in that world. You play as the girlfriends of the main characters of the River City Ransom game, and they've been kidnapped. So you got to go save them, and you beat up fellow school children and luchadors and just all manner of weird characters.
So I'm assuming the game does not take itself seriously.
No, it doesn't.
Okay,
it doesn't. It's incredibly silly. But if you like that type of game, it is that type of game, warts and all. You know what I mean? Like it's incredibly cheap, and I'm not talking about price. I'm talking about gameplay. Like these enemies are fucking assholes, and the penalty for death is steep. It feels a little bit like a quarter muncher, which is kind of weird because I doled out $30. That's a lot of quarters, man.
I love River City Ransom is probably my favorite NES game.
I think you would dig this. I dig the art style. I dig the silliness. I dig the music. It's like Scott Pilgrim, like that Scott Pilgrim side-scrolling game.
Okay.
But with characters that I actually like. And yeah, check it out.
All right. So don't forget, before we get into new releases, if you want to support your favorite video game podcast, whenever you use Amazon, use our link, densepixels.com/Amazon. You pay the same low price, but we get a small percentage of the sale. Use free Super Saver shipping, you assholes. Stop making 60-year-old men run all over a goddamn mile-long warehouse 8 times a day to get your free 2-day shipping. Fuck that. Free Super Saver shipping. You get a movie credit. densepixels.com/Amazon. See, I'm going to just keep going with that because, like I said, it makes me feel a little bit better, even though we're recommending that people turn to a incredibly amoral company. So new releases this week. Borderlands 3, easily the biggest one coming out on PS4, Xbox One, and PC. I will definitely be digging into that this week, and I know Micah will as well. Blasphemous, the side-scrolling adventure game that looks very interesting, and if you are like me, very interested in the theme, of course, PS4, Xbox One, and Switch for that one. Pro Evolution Soccer, it's now literally just called PES 2020, PS4 and Xbox One. Greedfall comes to PS4 and Xbox One. NASCAR Heat 4 comes to PS4 and Xbox One. NHL 20 comes to PS4 and Xbox One. Utaware Romano Zan comes to PS4. I think I pronounced that correctly.
I'll give you that.
Better than the last time one of those came out. I tried to pronounce that. So
Utaware. Oh, it is hard. Utaware Romano Zan.
Close enough.
I took 2 years of Japanese in college. I know what I'm doing.
The Walking Dead, the Telltale Definitive Series, which isn't actually supporting Telltale, comes out on PS4 and Xbox One this week. It says the full 4 chapter or 4 game series on there. WRC 8 FIA World Rally Championship comes to PS4 and Xbox One. Star Wars Pinball comes to Switch, and Daemon X Machina comes to Switch as well. We're going to go into news. I'm actually going to give the baton here to Carrie. There was a pretty big Nintendo Direct last week, so please tell us about all the news that's good to know.
Well, we already talked about the Super Nintendo games coming to Nintendo Switch Online. Personally, I feel like that was one of the big stories of the Direct for me. 20 games are available right now to play. So if you have the Nintendo Switch Online, get on that. You've got everything from Breath of Fire to Super EDF, Earth Defense Force. So, and then games that are maybe worth playing.
Though I will say one little caveat that came after that news that was not part of the Direct is apparently they're now going to be getting off of the monthly release schedule for these games that they were previously adhering to. Now it's just going to be when they feel like releasing them, they'll put new ones on there. So,
I mean, I imagine they will have some sort of regular update. Plus, they're still putting stuff on the NES side of things as well.
True.
So, well, they opened with Overwatch.
Yeah, the worst kept secret that got leaked previously.
So they opened with Overwatch. I don't like Overwatch. I played Overwatch on PC for a little bit. I wasn't very good. I don't think the community is very good. I don't think it's a fun game to play. But they're putting it on Switch, I guess, just to say that they could.
Yeah, this would make a lot more sense if crossplay was a thing in Overwatch, but it's not. You're just going to be playing with other Nintendo Switch folks, and also it kind of belies the nature of the Nintendo Switch because to play Overwatch you got to be online. So kind of hampers your portability. But so
yeah, in any case, that's a thing. What else? Terry Bogard is the next Smash DLC character, and also Banjo was like, hey, do you want to play as Banjo? Well, you can play as him in 25 minutes. Like, so I have played a little bit of Smash with Banjo and Kazooie. They're pretty fun. Their stage is really cool. All of the remix Banjo music is awesome. I really liked the trailer for Terry's reveal. It's been a long time since I have played like Fatal Fury or King of Fighters, because I don't really play fighting games like that. But I do recognize the influence and the sort of legacy of those games and of the character Terry Bogard. Like if you're gonna have like any sort of like Neo Geo character, like it's probably like him being the representation, I think, is really cool.
I mean, it's who you think of, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. Game I am super fucking excited about. Tokyo Mirage Session Sharp FE is finally getting a Switch port.
What is it? What is that? What style of game is that? Because a lot of folks talk about it, but
I like to refer to it as Diet Persona.
Okay, that you have explained everything I need to know about that game.
Yeah. So like it's more of like a straightforward, like Atlas style, Persona style JRPG. The only thing like carried over from like Fire Emblem is like you have some characters where it's like, this is Crom, and I'm like, sure it is, buddy. Is the weapons triad from like the battle system where it's like lance beats sword, sword
the rock paper
axe.
Scissors style.
Yeah, the rock paper scissors style elemental system in Fire Emblem is present in this game. Other than that, it's really wacky, it's really over the top. It's about like idols and performa and different dimensions and mirages, and nothing makes any sense, and I love it. So I can't wait to play it again. And now I have no use for my Wii U. That image of like the little kid with the gun, like looking real upset, like that is exactly how I feel about my Wii U right now.
It is impressive to see the efficiency to which Nintendo has obsoleted what was already a borderline obsolete system when it came out. So
they don't give a fuck, and that's fine. Like, I'm not mad about it. I will eat every bit of crow about the Wii U that y'all want to make me eat. As a piece of hardware, it was not very good, but it did have some really good games that are now all available on the Switch.
Yeah, we know, because we own them all now. So,
so yeah, Tokyo Mirage Sessions Sharp FE Encore will feature some of the supporting characters will now be moved into part of the main party, which is awesome because I love those characters, and the game's available in January. So if you are a fan of like Persona style RPGs, definitely pick that up. Bunch of other things getting ports and sequels. Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag and Assassin's Creed Rogue will be available as the Rebel Collection on December 6th.
Now, I'm curious why you're hissing. I wonder if it's the same thing that I thought when I watched the trailer that they showed.
I didn't even watch the trailer.
Oh, yeah.
I am not a fan of sea shanties. I am not a fan of boats. I am.
You know what I'm not a fan of?
What's that?
Games developed to be natively 1080p with processing power coming on a system that is not able to support that all the way.
Yeah, look, that's why I didn't watch the trailer. What's the point?
Yeah, I don't know anyone that needs this
for the sake of having them portable, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, you don't need to play this version of Assassin's Creed. So.
That's fine. Deadly Premonition, which is a game that everybody loved, is getting a sequel.
How?
I actually think I remember Deadly Premonition. Was that the Konami game?
I don't remember.
No,
I don't think it was Konami.
Swery. Maybe Konami published it.
Deadly Premonition
developed it.
Deadly Premonition is probably most famous for getting a perfect score from then Destructoid's Jim Sterling in the same month that he gave Final Fantasy 13 a 4 out of 10, and basically the entire internet got lit on fire about it.
The original Deadly Premonition was developed by Access Games and published in the US by Ignition Entertainment.
Okay, this is not what I'm thinking of.
No, it was a famously like bad game, but it was one of those like so bad, but people enjoyed it. It because of its badness, basically.
Yep. So the original Deadly Premonition is available right now to download on Switch as Deadly Premonition Origins, and it's getting a sequel next year called Deadly Premonition 2: A Blessing in Disguise. So if you like, I'll qualify it as campy horror games.
That is probably the most generous term you can use to describe what Deadly Premonition is.
Yeah, go ahead and check that out.
Here's a weird little factoid about Deadly Premonition, according to Wikipedia. It holds the Guinness World Record for the most critically polarizing survival horror game, which leads me to two things. One, that is a hell of an accomplishment. And two, Guinness really needs to start qualifying what they put in their books.
Yeah, Guinness is a fucking racket.
Yeah, this is ridiculous.
That seems like a baseball statistic, like one of those ridiculously obscure baseball statistics that pops up during a broadcast. That you're just like, why did you even bother tracking this?
Yeah,
it reminds me of one of my favorite lines from one of my favorite baseball movies, Mr. Baseball, an underrated baseball classic, where Tom Selleck, who plays the main character, found out that the Yankees, who he played for, was trading him, and in his incredulous state, he said, "I can't believe you're trading me. I led this club in 9th inning doubles in the month of August." And that's what that statistic reminds me of.
That's funny. Other games being ported include Divinity Original Sin 2, which is going to be cool, and that's available right now on Switch, and that will also be supporting cross-saves between Steam and Switch, so that's kind of cool if you have already been playing the game on Steam. Bethesda has decided that they're going to re-release Doom 64 as part of the 25th anniversary of Doom, which is ongoing this year. So if you like janky old first-person shooters, then say thank you, Pete Hines. Star Wars Jedi Knight 2 Jedi Outcast is also going to be ported to the Switch for reasons I don't know. They were like, hey, this old Star Wars game is coming on the Switch, and even I was like, why?
What a random ass Star Wars game to play.
Well, like, it was good. Like, I'll give it to him. Like, Jedi Outcast is a fucking fun game, and so that comes out in like 2 weeks. Some new games like Rogue Company, which is a new team-based shooter, that got a preview. Return of the Obra Dinn, which got a bunch of awards last year, I think. That's coming to Switch this fall. We got another look at Luigi's Mansion 3 with the hotel that Luigi and Gooigi will get to explore. Game Freak's new game is now called Little Town Hero. It was originally just called Town. You play as this guy named Axe, which is fun because he doesn't have an axe, but the whole game takes place in one town, and they made sure to note that the music in the game is being composed by Toby Fox, who created and composed for Undertale. And speaking of Undertale, they made fucking Sans a Gunner outfit in Smash. So now you can play as Sans Undertale, the meme king in Super Smash Brothers. As far as stuff that we got more extended looks at, we got a really lengthy look at Animal Crossing New Horizons, which comes out in March. So just a look at how multiplayer will function and sort of a deep dive into the crafting system as far as how you will collect raw materials on the island and craft tools and upgrade those tools and build up the island. It looks super cute. I'm ready to play that game. It's sort of incorporating a lot of the things that I like about games like Harvest Moon and Stardew Valley into Animal Crossing. So sign me up. Pokemon Sword and Shield got some new features detailed, like a curry rice mode where you get to cook curry rice and write down your recipes in your curry decks.
Yo, shut up.
This seems very much like my least favorite mechanic in Breath of the Wild.
Yeah. So curry decks. There's also like Pokemon Camp, which is very much like the Pokemon-Ami function from the 3DS games, and they detailed some of the customization options for like the actual player character, so that's kind of cool. And like they ended with Xenoblade Chronicles like definitive edition, like an HD remake of the original Xenoblade Chronicles, and I thought that was kind of a weird thing to end on. And then I gave it some thought, and I said, you know what? They probably originally were going to open with Xenoblade Chronicles HD.
And then the Overwatch thing forced them to...
And we're going to end on Overwatch as their one more thing. And then Overwatch leaked, and they had to flip them. That's my theory, and I'm sticking with it. But yeah, I mean, the original Xenoblade Chronicles, which has already seen a re-release on the new Nintendo 3DS. I mean, it looks good. By all accounts, it's a great RPG. I still haven't gotten around to playing it. If you want to know where that Shulk guy in Smash Brothers is from, now you'll have a fine opportunity to do so. So that's basically it. I'm mostly excited for Animal Crossing and Tokyo Mirage Sessions.
They also announced that there's and this released already, there's a free-to-play Kirby game called Super Kirby Clash, which looks very Smash Brothers-esque. So there's that if you're a big Kirby fan. Speaking of Nintendo, they have filed a patent for a new Joy-Con design that is curved in some ways.
Or it's hinged. Like you can flip. I don't know. I don't know why anyone would want this.
Well, it is a little bit more ergonomic. So like, here's the problem with Joy-Con. So like, I have big, giant hands, and when I am playing the Switch in handheld mode, like I have to hold my Switch here. I can probably just show you. So like when I'm playing Switch in handheld, like I hold it with like almost my whole hand like underneath of this here, and so I can hold the right Joy-Con like regularly. It's very weird because like if I hold it like normally, I feel like my arms are super far apart, and it kind of cramps my hand up a little bit. So they've tried.
I have tiny baby hands, so
yeah. Well, it's great. It's great for you.
Yeah, you gotta brace the back of it.
Yeah, it's not cool. So I got a chance to mess around with those new Hori Joy-Con controllers that they're coming out with, which feel great, but they look like dog shit when they're actually on the console because they're way bigger than the rest of the console is. So I think that's the same problem that these would have, is like, while they probably will be more comfortable to hold, they're going to make the system look really dumb.
Nah.
Assuming these things happen. I mean, it's just a patent.
I mean, that's the thing, is like, just because something has been patented, like that doesn't mean that it's ever going to hit production. So
did they get approved for this patent?
Yes. Okay. I don't think that the patent got dug up, so like it's in the patent office, but we'll see. They might have done this just to prevent someone else from doing it too, so that's always a possibility.
Yep, that's it, just to cover their bases.
Yep. Because the Coalition is cool and hip, Dave Bautista is in Gears of War 5. So you can now play as Dave Bautista in Gears 5. Of course, Dave Bautista is kind of on everyone's wish list that if they ever make a Gears of War movie, they want him to play Marcus Phoenix. And like I said, because the Coalition are cool people, they put a little bonus in there.
They actually are really cool people. This first example is not why they're cool, but apparently, so the whole Terminator thing, right? Like you can be a Terminator in Gears, right? Well, you can also be Sarah Connor. Like you can be.
I saw that. I thought that was pretty dope. You
could be Shotgun Grandma, and it's actually pretty fucking cool seeing her walk around. This is what makes them cool, though. So in the game, you have everything is customizable, and this game is like the $1 Million Man. Everybody's got a price for something, right? And you can have like little banners and stuff. Well, the banners are like flags that they make up, or flags that are country flags, USA and Argentina or whatever, right? Not only do they have every fucking country, they have a litany of pride flags that you can pick. Like a whole bunch of them. Like, I don't know if they're all real or if they're like variants of pride flags. Like, I don't know if there's, like, I know the rainbow flag, but I didn't know there was a pride flag that had black and brown in the rainbow also. Mm-hmm. There's the bi flag. I've seen the bi flag before, but there's like 20 different pride flags that you can pick. And that's cool, man. Like, it's little stuff like that is that is in the zeitgeist to help, quote unquote, normalize the idea that everybody plays games, and everybody of all shapes, sizes, colors, creeds, orientations, or whatever, like, they all play games, and to be inclusive, you know what I mean? Like, that's cool.
That's great.
That's what makes them cool.
It makes me very upset, though, that you are inevitably going to see some sort of backlash from the alt-right as to why they don't have representation. But fuck them. So, Cyberpunk 2077 is one of the most anticipated releases for next year, of course. CD Projekt Red has said that there is going to be a multiplayer mode that's going to release in the game sometime after the game comes out. They have not detailed exactly what that online multiplayer mode will entail. But they have said in the past, or prior documentation said in the past, alludes to, quote, seamless integration with Night City in the game. So I don't know that I need Cyberpunk to have multiplayer, but I'm not going to turn it down. So
I'm just curious as to what it could be, because it's because of all the different, because of the nature of this property. Mm-hmm. Like, what types of game modes could there be? Like, I'm expecting something different and fresh. Like, that's what I want out of a multiplayer suite from Cyberpunk 2077. I don't just want deathmatch with, like, instead of shooting a gun, I shoot a rocket out of my hand or whatever. You know what I mean?
I can see them doing something GTA-esque, like maybe on a smaller scale, but something in that vein where you can just kind of do. Like I said, no sense in speculating, because I'm sure whatever it is actually probably going to surprise us a little bit.
Yeah.
So. Rage 2, the Rise of the Ghosts expansion is coming out September 26th. If you have the deluxe edition of Rage 2, you'll get immediate access to it. If you do not, you have to purchase it for 1,500 Rage coins, which is $15.
Shut up.
In US money. And they said Avalanche Studios says that the, quote, new ability in Rise of the Ghost Void will let players target enemies to grab and suspend them in the air ragdoll style. Using the Shatter, players can launch enemies or focus the new ability to explode the enemy's head. I don't know what any of that means. If you like Rage 2, hopefully you are very excited about this.
So up until about 99 seconds ago, I forgot this game existed.
You are not the only one.
I don't see anybody talking about Rage.
About a month after it came out, you could find it for $30 in a great many places.
That sounds about right.
Yep.
Wow.
So that's what happens when you resurrect a franchise that didn't have a new game for 8 years that no one really cared about in the first place. But I guess people are like, well, it made the first one, so naturally someone was going to want to play it. Not necessarily. And finally, in news, Death Stranding is going to have a very easy mode for people that want to enable Hideo Kojima's auteurism, basically. So we all know that Hideo Kojima is just making movies that you can play. That was always been the joke for Metal Gear forever. But not only is there an easy mode in this game, but there's going to be very easy mode. This is from Hideo Kojima. I'm just going to read his tweet, his tweet. Normally there's only easy mode, but we added very easy mode for movie fans since we have real actors like Norman, Mads, and Leia starred in. Even Yano-san, who never completed the first stage of Pac-Man, was able to complete the game on very easy mode.
So you just selling a $60 movie then?
Basically.
Yeah. Yup.
Yo, Amir, you're gonna have to tell me how this game is, because I can't do it.
I am refusing to play it at this point.
Right. At this point, it's just spite.
At this point, I just want Kojima to fuck off for a few years.
Yeah.
And not do anything, not talk to anyone. If he wants to go suck Mads Mikkelsen's dick, that's fine. But please don't be on the internet about it. I'm sick of him. I used to feel sorry for how the shit played out with Konami. No, I don't care anymore. I'm over it. He is so far up his own ass that I just I can't stand to hear anything about Death Stranding at this point.
Yeah. Fucking Japanese Shyamalan over here is probably the reason. I just don't. All right, I just got to get this shit off of my screen. I can't look at this anymore.
Yep.
It's fucking terrible, man.
So before we get into what do you people want, make sure to go to youtube.com/10pixels, click the red subscribe button, ring the bell icon. We post this podcast in video format every single week. If I ever do Let's Plays, which I imagine I'll do some when Borderlands 3 comes out, it'll be on our channel as well. So again, youtube.com/densepixels. Don't forget to subscribe to all of the TNP Studio shows on whatever app that you use for podcasts. That includes the Nerdpocalypse, Black on Black Cinema, and Coming Distractions. And of course, if you're not a premium member, you can go to densepixels.com/premium and sign up for just $5 a month or $50 for an entire year. If you do that today, you'll have a brand spanking new episode of No Time to Bleed, where we reviewed Con Air, the 1997 Nicolas Cage masterpiece. It was me, Jay, Micah, and Terrence. Of course, last week we released a new episode of The Men of the Golden Tongues where Mike and I reviewed Mission Impossible 3. There's weekly episodes to look forward. And of course, the Airing Grievances, Jay and Micah's Seinfeld review podcast as well. Again, densepixels.com/premium. Currently, I'm gonna go out on a limb and guess at this point that we are now over 400 hours of content on the premium service. Don't quote me on that. But just basing it on, timeline, how many episodes to look forward since I started saying 350, we should be at 400 hours of premium content. So it is our 300th episode. We can think of no better way to celebrate than to bring back one of your favorite segments and ours. What do you people want us to talk about? So, of course, you can get in on answering our questions if you are a member of our fan group at densepixels.com/fans. On Facebook, much like Malcolm did, who said he has never played a Mass Effect or Metal Gear game. Is he missing out on anything? And also, to the Melanin Fellas, Tekken 7 Season 3 just dropped. Are you excited, Micah, for Leroy Smith? Answer that question first, then we'll talk about Mass Effect or Metal Gear.
Yes, I am excited for Leroy Smith. I'm always excited for a black character to be in anything, and 9 times out of 10 it'll be a fighting game. And when that black character is in a fighting game and is not like a googly-eyed boxer, who is not, playing to a stereotype, or at least a mainstream stereotype, then yeah, I'm super excited for it. I thought it comes out. Well, I guess maybe by the time you're listening to this, well, maybe the actual update came out, but I didn't see the season pass on the store yet. So
you know who I'm really happy for? I'm really happy for T-Pain.
Yo, he killed it.
Yeah, dude.
He killed it.
I was just so happy to see him in that costume. Like, he killed the costume, but just like that footage of him just like dancing in that outfit, I'm like, this brings me a great amount of joy.
So
I like T-Pain. I've interviewed T-Pain. He's a nice guy.
He's a very nice guy who can actually sing. Like, he gets flack for auto-tune. No, like,
yeah.
that guy can actually sing.
No, he can actually sing.
So as far as Mass Effect and Metal Gear, so here's the thing with both those game series, and actually I'll be interested to get a contrarian point from Carrie, because correct me if I'm wrong, you've not played any games in either of those series, correct?
Correct.
All right, so we'll get that in a second. Here's the thing: both are very good. Create a very good story that goes across several games that really rewards your commitment and your stick-to-itiveness with those franchises. However, it's very difficult to just play one Mass Effect game or one Metal Gear game and be able to experience why those series are special. It's one of those things that, like, if you jump in, you have to, and you like it. Like, I'm not saying buy all 5 Metal Gear games at once, or however many Metal Gear games are, and buy them all at once and stick with it no matter what. Now, if you play the first one and you're like, I'd really dig this story, then you're going to want to play all of them.
Yeah. Don't play them out of order. Play them. You got to grow with these people. You picked the 2 franchises with characters so unique and so memorable. But if you play Mass Effect 2, you're not gonna understand why certain characters who come back are. You might not understand why Garrus is your homeboy. You know what I mean? Like, you got to grow with these. You got to grow with these characters. And same thing with Metal Gear, man. Metal Gear, these characters are fucking wacky. So you probably, and I would argue that Metal Gear, the first Metal Gear Solid, has the best characters, because they weren't like over the top wacky. Like, they weren't vampires and fat dudes who place bombs all over the place while rollerblading. Like, they weren't fucking wacky and silly, but they were unique. Like, the most far out thing was a fucking robot ninja. You know what I mean?
Right. Carrie, why have you never been compelled to jump in on either of those franchises?
Because I don't like third-person shooters and I don't like stealth games.
Well, there you go.
That being said, I've read through all of the story of Metal Gear. Like, I enjoy the characters of Metal Gear. I enjoy the story of Metal Gear. It's just not gameplay that it's gameplay that I actively am keenly aware that I am bad at. So, like, I don't want to play a game that I know is going to kick my ass, because then I'm going to have a bad time and then I'm not going to enjoy the experience of the story. So I have enjoyed the story of Metal Gear vicariously through either watching my former roommates play through it, or same thing with Mass Effect. The folks I used to live with were very into both of these games. So I sort of watched other people play these games and I really enjoy the story of both. But it's just not gameplay that's ever appealed to me personally. So,
all right. Bryant asks, are there any games that you wanted to not only succeed financially, but also quality-wise, that ended up failing at one or both ends and disappointing you? Also, go Eagles. I mean, for fuck's sake, Anthem is going to be like, like the easiest example of this in recent memory.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, I think Anthem might be the answer, because I really wanted that game to be good, man. Like, and it's a solid game.
Yeah, it's not the game that's bad. It's a bad live service game.
Yeah. Like the mechanics of the game, the minute to minute, gameplay is there. It just took forever to like tweak it and just refine it. And I ended up deleting it off my system recently. Just
Ooh.
you know, I don't think I'm going to play it anymore.
Yeah.
I look forward to its relaunch sometime next year.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah. Fucking Anthem 2.0. Like bigger, better, brand new overhaul. I really hope I will be disappointed if Death Stranding succeeds financially and quality.
On the financial end of things, I was really disappointed with the financial performance of Golden Sun Dark Dawn, which is almost 10 years ago, because it ended on a cliffhanger. And the fact that it didn't do well financially means that I've been sitting on the cliffhanger. In terms of quality-wise, I've most recently been disappointed in the Harvest Moon / Story of Seasons franchise. Ever since they moved to the 3DS, those games haven't been very good, which sucks because I really love the old Harvest Moon. Thankfully, I have Stardew Valley to sort of fall back on as far as farming sim games are concerned. But I grew up playing Harvest Moon on my Game Boy Color, and it just it feels bad to see sort of how badly that game has sort of slipped in terms of its quality over the years. So.
There you go.
Yep.
Ken asks, you guys have Nintendo Switches. I have some questions. Are the Joy-Cons durable? Will they hold up to a 7-year-old's finesse or lack thereof? How about the dock? I guess I need an answer on the general sturdiness on the system. Most importantly, Micah, if I sneak copies of the new Mortal Kombat and Peach Ball in the house, are the Switch versions up to snuff?
Mortal Kombat, I had our buddy Rob bought Mortal Kombat for the Switch, and he was incredibly disappointed. All of the towers of time, the rotating towers that try to keep the single player game fresh, require online. So if you're on the go, again, if you're on the go and don't have access to an internet connection or a stable one, all you can do is play single player towers, and that will be you'll get bored of that very easily, apparently. And I wouldn't recommend playing a fighting game on the Switch. I have a couple, and it is not conducive to handheld play. And then Peach Ball, I mean, there are better pinball games.
And then
there are much better pinball games.
And then as far as durability goes, the Joy-Cons, the dock is whatever, that's fine as long as you're sliding in and out. The one thing I would recommend for the dock is a dock sock. If you search for Switch dock sock on Etsy, you can find some manufacturer. It just keeps the screen from getting damaged when you're putting it in and out of the dock.
I mean, I've got the I think it's the Anchor brand Switch screen glass protector on top of it. I would recommend getting one of those. But otherwise, I think the system itself is super durable. I think the Joy-Cons can handle being knocked around quite a bit.
They can.
Nintendo,
they can be broken, but you have to try. If
Nintendo,
your 7-year-old's super rough, then maybe not. But
Nintendo knows who their audience is. Nintendo knows that 5-year-olds are really into Mario and Pokemon, so they build their shit, particularly their accessories, to a degree that you can hurl them across the room, and the only thing in danger of being broken is probably going to be your television before the Joy-Con itself. So
Evan says, congrats on episode 300. Which show will last longer, the Nerdpocalypse or Dense Pixels? Look, I would say something snide about this. I have to imagine as long as TNP Studios is a thing, both of those shows are going to be a part of it. Nerdpocalypse is the flagship show, and we have too much fucking fun doing this podcast to ever stop it.
There you go.
So, Amir says, and this is much more for you two, because believe it or not, actually, it's easy to believe. I'm a straight white male.
Yeah,
I haven't had a whole lot of people say a lot of crazy shit to me. playing online. But what is the craziest thing somebody's either said on their headset or messaged you while playing online gaming?
This just the usual shit. I was playing. What was I playing? One of them Gears games, and some little fucking kid was on. It's cliche to say, but it's cliche for a reason. Like some little kid was over there calling me, "You're a nigger, you're a nigger, your mom's a nigger." Like, all right, yo, all right. I ain't got time for all this shit, yo. Too old for that shit. Yeah. I'm too old to be yelling at some kid through a headset. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't play a lot of games online, sort of for that reason. Honestly, I think the craziest thing that has happened is like just playing Fallout 76 somewhat recently, and I was on voice chat, and there were guys who were just like, "Oh, a girl! Oh, we haven't played with a girl in a while. Oh, we're gonna hang out with you." And I was like, "Okay, don't be weird about it." But like, all right. But like they ended up being pretty cool. Like we ended up doing like a nuke raid basically. Yeah. So that was fine. They were cool. They were chill.
And like my wife never plays online, but a few of the experience she's had in her limited time, of course, playing Call of Duty Modern Warfare way back in the day, not going well, of course. And then she got sent an unsolicited dick pic by somebody on Xbox Live playing Uno. Fucking Uno. So, fucking
guys, let me stress this. No one wants to see your ugly penis.
Yeah, I was about to say, dicks are ugly, yo. Like they don't. Like
even if you've got a girlfriend, she probably doesn't really want to see your ugly dick. Does she keep the lights off when you fuck? She doesn't want to see your penis.
Randy says, just want to thank you guys for making Tuesday at work a little bit better. And are we getting old or are video games just getting more complicated? 39-year-old gamer here.
Both.
Yeah,
both.
Going back to some of like those SNES games, like, God, I am bad at Super Mario World now. I used to be good at Super Mario World. I'm bad at that game. Thank God for the rewind function.
Yeah, I can't, I got stuck playing on my SNES Classic. I got stuck on the second minecart level in Donkey Kong, in the original Donkey Kong Country.
Yo, fuck those minecart levels.
Yeah, like they're
general, like even today,
so.
But like back then they were so hard.
Yo, don't play a sports game nowadays.
No,
just don't, yo.
except for FIFA, still weirdly accessible. But yeah, NBA and Madden, it's like fucking trigonometry trying to fucking figure that shit out.
Trying to play MLB The Show. No.
Yeah, that's another one. That's another one too.
I didn't buy a game to do math. Fuck you.
Anthony says, congrats on 300. Johnny says, sends a picture of Kirby wearing the Terry Bogard hat saying, "This is canon now. Look at it." So, Jake,
yeah, you know what? That's what he's going to look like when he sucks up Terry Bogard.
Yeah. Jake says,
stupid trucker hat.
What he wants to do is take two of us on with the other in the new Modern Warfare 2v2 mode. GoldenEye rules, pistols only. I don't know if you can set the weapons that are involved. I think that's actually randomized. But if me and Micah end up getting Call of Duty, then that's the only mode I'm ever going to play in that game because it looks fun as hell. Andy says, what's the best moment in the history of the show, and why is it Terrence doing an impression of a guy with a thick Baltimore accent pre-ordering Grand Theft Auto 5?
Yeah, he really needs to break that out more often because it's really, really good. Best moment in the history of the show.
I mean, I go back to the Glenn Beck Watchdog story.
Yeah,
that's a pretty good one, I think. Micah seems to enjoy whenever I get a bug up my ass about something.
Yo, Mad Brad is just the fucking best because it's like see, this is what I say. You know, when I talk about you behind your back, Brad, I say that Brad is probably like a secret badass because like Brad is a really nice guy. And Brad married his opposite. Like Brad's wife is like take no fucking bullshit from anybody. I will fucking fight you, right? But she does it in like a very sweet voice. She's like, I will fucking fight your ass. You know what I mean? And Brad was able to, for lack of a better word, tame this young lady. So Brad is probably like throwing it down because that woman is tough and she ain't taking no shit from nobody, not even her man, which is why I think Brad is a secret badass.
I don't think that I'm a secret badass, but I will take the compliment. What was I ranting on a couple months ago? Because that was, you were laughing the entire time. And now I can't remember what the fuck it was.
You, Mad Brad is the shit.
I'll have to remember that. Maybe I'll find that and clip it out because it was really funny. Cam says, congrats on 300, Micah and Terrence.
Wow.
Cam is still upset because I was very busy in the lead up to my trip to Nashville that I forgot to text Cam and see if he wanted to hang out while I was down in Nashville. And
I'm going to Nashville in December, probably. I'll hang out with you, Cam.
Yeah, I feel bad because, like I said, I had a very stressful week at work leading up to that where some important shit was going down, and it fucking slipped my mind because I actually meant to do it, and I didn't, and I feel bad about it. Cam's not letting it go because he's a dick. But he says, what are your thoughts on the AEW title going missing for a couple days? And are any of you planning on going to the Full Gear pay-per-view in Baltimore? I hope you guys celebrate 300 with a bit of bubbly. Of course,
I've been drinking. If you're watching on YouTube, you've been seeing me drinking.
No, Chris Jericho, for those that don't know, won the inaugural AEW World Championship and then promptly lost the title belt. Because
at a
Longhorn Steakhouse. It was recovered by the Tallahassee local police, I guess, and returned to him. It's one of those. So wrestling is so unique in that my initial thought when I heard this happened was that it was a work.
Of course,
like whenever something incredible happens in the world outside of the ring in professional wrestling, you just automatically assume that you're being worked. And that it is part of advancing a story. Apparently not in this case. I will say the AEW World Championship is a very ugly championship belt.
You don't like it?
No, I don't like it at all.
The only thing I don't like about it is the big ass AEW in the middle of it. Everything else,
the only time that I've ever liked that is when they incorporated it into the NXT title belt design.
And see, I don't like that either. Like, it's a big X with an N and a T next to it. Like, I want belts. I want belts to not have so much branding on them when, like, we know what belt it is. You know what I mean? Like, we're watching your product. Like, I just want a cool looking belt. That's why everybody loves the big gold belt, because it's just a big slab of gold.
So, and no, I don't think any of us are planning on going to whatever AEW pay-per-view is gracing the Baltimore arena in a little bit. So, Eric asks, congrats on 300. Who would win in a Smash Brothers free-for-all, and what characters would you choose? Yes, Carrie absolutely would win.
Yeah,
she plays it more than any of us.
I would win.
My sister,
easily.
My sister is getting engaged to a fine young man, and we went to their engagement party. And at their engagement party, they had a Smash tournament, and I was probably booted because these are young 30-something weebs who love Smash. And I was playing Smash the other day. I don't know if I have a main. I like the Mii Fighter, and I like Cloud, and there was somebody else that I generally like. I generally like sword-based characters.
Yeah.
Okay. I use Kirby, Mii Sword Fighter, and Princess Daisy.
Yep. And Bowser is my main, and I dabble in some Mega Man and some Simon Belmont in the most recent Smash Brothers iteration.
Yep.
Mark says, congrats on 300. Rashawn says, congrats on 300 episodes. And my question, will any of you play the new Blair Witch Project game? And I'm making this a run-on sentence just to put a reminder of how I put in all the 5-star reviews over these 300 episodes. Also, since Brad isn't on the Apocalypse, this I need to know. Brad's and Micah's thoughts on a possible face-off reboot in the works. I've heard not good things about the Blair Witch game that came out on Microsoft. Basically, a lot of people saying, well, good thing it's on Game Pass, because I'd have been mad if I paid for it.
Yeah, I'm a ween, so I will not play the new Blair Witch game.
I was not impressed with either Blair Witch movie, so and that alone is the only reason why I'm not going to play it.
Look, I've been to like the actual like Blair Witch Woods, so I don't feel the need to play the game.
So as far as this face-off reboot, or remake, I guess you could say, I am a firm believer that if the original film still holds up and you cannot make a tangible improvement, and when I say improvement, I don't just mean, oh, it's going to look better, it's going to be shot better. No, like you have to be able to improve on the storytelling of the original movie. If you can't do those two things, don't bother remaking the film. Face Off is still great. Face Off is still a ridiculous John Woo movie that has the 2 of the top 10 greatest overacting performances of all time contained within that one movie. You're not gonna better that. Part of the charm is the fact that by the time the movie's over, there is no scenery left standing between Nicolas Cage and John Travolta. That's part of what makes Face Off great. You can't make that better.
You're 100% right. I don't like because if they do a Face Off reboot, they're gonna take it way too seriously. And this movie stars over actor Nicolas Cage and over actor John Travolta, and they are overacting each other's overacting. Like it is a movie that is firmly of its time with its ludicrous premise and its batshit crazy action and just over the top acting. I'm afraid that if you're gonna do a Face Off reboot, you're gonna try and make it scientific. Like, well, what would we do if this happened for real? Nobody gives a shit. Nobody gives a shit about whether or not this happens for real. What? No. Who are you gonna get? Who are you gonna get to be Castor Troy? And then who are you gonna get to play the guy playing Castor Troy? Come on, man. You're not gonna like everything about like the facial expressions. Like you're not gonna top any of that stuff, man.
You can't.
Don't do
it. You can't.
Unless you star the original actors.
But then, we don't need that either.
Yeah, because we already have it.
Yeah, we already have it. So
yeah.
Sterling says congrats. Trey says congrats and best Dreamcast memories. I have no Dreamcast memories. I got one well after that system came out.
I enjoyed Seaman.
Did you?
I did. Actually.
Okay.
I enjoyed Seaman because it was the first time I'd ever seen anything like that, and I was lonely as a Ute. I mean, it came out in 1999. Yeah. We all know what I was doing in 1999.
Playing Pokemon Snap.
I never owned a Dreamcast. I still don't. I would love to own a Dreamcast today. But I had a friend in middle school who had a Dreamcast, and I would play it at her place, and played a lot of Echo the Dolphin and a lot of Phantasy Star Online. And I also think I remember being in, I think the Toys R Us in Owings Mills and experiencing a Dreamcast for the first time because I would have been 9 and playing the Sonic Adventure demo on that with when the camera turns in that first level and Sonic's running at the camera on the bridge with the killer whales going in the background trying to get you. And I just remember being really sucked into that, thinking that looked really fucking cool. So yeah, I guess that would be it. Just sort of being blown away by the technology of the Dreamcast as a baby.
Johnny says, congrats. After last week's Nintendo Direct, does anybody have more clout than Sakurai right now? Dude literally told people to go play Xbox for Banjo-Kazooie. That dude looks tired and looks like he needs to take a nap.
He won't, though.
Nope.
Not only does he have a couple more Challenger packs, but they were like, hey, isn't it sad that the Challenger packs are coming to an end? Wouldn't it be nice if we did more DLC? We're doing more DLC.
Jamaican air horn. So,
yeah.
And Johnny says Johnny's also going Steven Crowder on us. Quick aside, I know that the change my mind meme is very popular on the internet. That dude fucking sucks though.
Yeah,
don't fucking share his image around. But
he said something like feminism is fucking bullshit. Change my mind. Like,
right.
all right, calm down.
Yeah. That guy's a fucking Nazi.
But he says fighting games have the best soundtracks. Change my mind. In terms of listenability, I think that if you're going to pick a genre of games, that's probably going to be generally true. But I don't think that any era of video games has better soundtracks than the 8 to 16-bit era.
You know why?
Why is that?
Because they were limited by technology. So they had to actually come up with melodies.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And not just, sweeping opuses of just music. Like, no, you had to come up with melodies that fucking stick in your head and earworms and shit.
Yeah, I would agree with you. I think as a genre, fighting games are certainly up there. I also think platformers also generally have really good soundtracks as sort of a genre. But like fighting games, it's like, all right, let's get pumped up. Like, let's get the adrenaline flowing. So it's all very upbeat stuff, usually in major keys. And yeah, I mean, fuck, everyone knows Guile's theme. Like,
right.
Fighting game themes are lit. Like,
yeah. Fucking melodies, man.
Yep. Chris says, congrats on making it to episode 300, but his question is, what JRPG did you enjoy besides the major ones like Final Fantasy, Persona, and the Pokemon franchise? He says his favorite is Tales of Vesperia Definitive Edition because of the gameplay, plot, and characters. He spent 90 hours just to get characters level 200 and to get all the weapons and special abilities.
I wonder what game I like. I wonder which game, which JRPG do you think I like the most?
Which
JRPG do you think I like the most? Play Golden Sun. God damn it.
So for me, it depends on what you qualify as major and not major. If Chrono Trigger is not considered a major RPG just because it's not a part of a long running franchise, then that's going to be it. If you disqualify Chrono Trigger because of the amount of star power and finance behind making that game, then Earthbound will be.
I would probably disqualify Earthbound too. Yeah, I mean, I would agree. Like, if we are disavowing all of the major franchises, I would say Tales of Vesperia counts as a major franchise. Tales has been a long running franchise. That goes back to Super Nintendo days. Tales of Fantasia is the best Tales game. Fucking don't at me about it. Besides Golden Sun, I think my favorite like non-major series JRPG is probably Skies of Arcadia, which was originally a Dreamcast game, though I first played it as the GameCube port. It's super good. The music's good. The story is interesting. The battle mechanics are fun. The characters are all really fun. It's just a really good game that I would love to see remade in HD at some point. Because at this point, like it's hard to find. Like if you can find a GameCube copy of Skies of Arcadia, like that's like a $200 game at this point on the secondary market. Or I mean, you could just emulate it, but I would like to see that game remade in HD. It's really, really good. So, yeah. But play Golden Sun.
There was a game on the Xbox 360 of all consoles called Lost Odyssey.
Ooh, that was good.
I really, really like that game.
Who made that game?
Mistwalker Studios. Exactly. And I was really bummed that game didn't get the love that it deserved, in my opinion. Because
it was a JRPG on the 360.
Yep, that's it. That's it. And nobody.
That had a lot of that had Hironobu Sakaguchi, who created Final Fantasy, involved with a soundtrack by Nobuo Uematsu.
Right.
Yeah, you figure that's gonna be that's a fucking home run off the bat.
You're playing Lost Odyssey 8 right now.
Right, but they made it a 360 exclusive, which they probably shouldn't have done.
Nope.
What the fuck?
In a misguided effort to appeal to the Japanese market for that console.
Since I just saw a new trailer just dropped, and now that there's a release date for it, Digimon Story Cyber Sleuth. Those two games are coming to the Nintendo Switch next month as the Digimon Story Cyber Sleuth Complete Edition. October 18th. Those games are super fucking good. Even if you don't like Digimon at all, those games are so good. The music is good. The stories are interesting. The sort of overlap between the two games is really cool. Yeah, God, those games are so good. I'm going to play those again. I'm going to spend money and buy those games again, even though I have them on PlayStation 4.
Aaron asked a question that made me really realize how much I miss these. And you youngins out there might not appreciate this one as much. Favorite gaming magazine growing up?
Carrie, do you know what a magazine is?
I had a subscription to Nintendo Power for years. I still have all of my old copies of Nintendo Power in my house right now. They're in a bin in the basement. Yeah, I loved Nintendo Power.
Carrie, answer mine first, because for me and Micah, it's gonna come down between one or two, one of two magazines, and I know what they're gonna be. So, but what was yours? Oh, so it was Nintendo. You're saying Nintendo Power. Okay.
Yeah.
If you are a person of the generation that Micah and I reside in, of a certain age. There were two choices. I mean, you had Nintendo Power was there, and there were a couple other good ones, but really it was choosing between either GamePro or EGM.
Yeah. Yep.
And for me, I was a GamePro guy.
Yeah, I was more of a GamePro guy myself. What hooked me was the little scoring cartoons.
The little heads.
Yeah, that's what hooked me. And that magazine brought Pro Tip into the lexicon. Like nobody, that's it. That's the origin of that. Nobody knows where that came from now, but yeah, that's where that came from. I didn't mind EGM, especially for the April Fool's issues. Mm-hmm. Trying to find the April Fool's joke that had an infamous Street Fighter April Fool's joke that had people fucking pissed when they found out that it was something like you had to do some impossible task in Street Fighter in order to fight a character called Shen Long. And what's funny is Shen Long was just a mistranslation from Japanese to English. Like Shen Long meant like dragon, like what the Shen Long was an actual dragon punch. So Ryu it's supposed to say, you must defeat my dragon punch if you were to stand a chance. But in English, they didn't know what the fuck Shen Long was. So they were like, well, you must defeat Shen Long in order to stand a chance. So EGM was like, hey, here's how you fight Shen Long, right? And it's something ridiculous. Like you got to get fucking first round perfects all the way up. And then you gotta fight Bison, but then it has to come to a draw, and you have to do everything on 1/4, and you have to have like a certain amount of seconds left on the clock, and then Shen Long will come in and fucking start fighting you and shit. And people actually fucking did that shit. People actually did it. And we're like, what the fuck where is it? And yeah, man, like they fucking duped them. That is the original, like that's how Akuma from Street Fighter was born. They were like, yo, we kind of got something here.
Yeah.
And yeah, that is the origin of Akuma, folks. A fucking EGM April Fool's gag.
But yeah, there was nothing better than waiting for the Game Pro to show up every month.
I have some issues of Game Pro in my house, for what it's worth. So like I was subscribed to Nintendo Power for
I was too.
many years.
As was I. And I will say this, and Nintendo Power had my favorite strategy guides. Like they had the best strat guides in the NES, SNES era.
So yeah, I was subscribed to Nintendo Power from I think the age of about 8 or 9 until I graduated high school. And I would on occasion spend my allowance money on other gaming magazines like GamePro, but because I was also so into Pokemon cards, I was spending a lot of my money on a lot of the card magazines as well, like Beckett.
Oh yeah, I used to have Beckett back in the day for the baseball cards. So, Leonardo coming through in the clutch. So we said last week we couldn't. It was hard for us to remember a lot of like memories from the show, because it all runs together for us. But I'm going to read Leonardo's comment, which I really like. So he says, congrats on 300. Not going to lie, I wasn't all that jazzed to add the show to my podcast lineup because I already listen to so many video game podcasts. But lo and behold, you folks ended up sticking around because sometimes you don't want to listen to game journalists and insiders talk shop. Sometimes you just want to hear a story of a guy watching the Batman demo in a GameStop and start shouting, "Oh, that's Kenbo! That's Kenbo!" I love the whole cast. Micah and his seemingly weekly impulsive buys. Carrie and her constant weeaboo games. # Golden Sun 2020. Brad eating all that crow in Jedi Fallen Order is the best game of 2019. Terrence telling game companies to suck his dick, or Terrence saying fuck Nintendo, or getting a fuck Nintendo t-shirt, short-lived. Or Terrence saying funny things like that one N-word who flew the ship in Final Fantasy VIII. Final Fantasy VII, I think, was that one. Here's the 300 more when he was trying to think of Sid. That was a great comment. We're going to end it with Jay. Jay, of course, producer ordinaire of TNP Studios. He says, congrats on 300. You guys have consistently done a passable show, and that's more than I could have ever imagined from you three. In all seriousness, really proud of you guys. You are a great pillar of a great network of shows created by a man whose talents seem to know no ends. A giant amongst men, a 5'9" man with the ego of a man at least 7 inches taller than that.
Well, and, can't say it any better than that, I guess.
No.
Oh, that's funny.
The best one to end on. And thank you to Jay for, giving us this opportunity. I can still vividly remember that January evening back in 2013, when I drove from work to Red Brick Station to meet Micah and Jay to present this format for this video game podcast that me and Micah wanted to do on the network. Jay was completely shocked that I actually had like an outline and a layout and a presentation basically made for this, because I think he was ready to sign off on it in the first place. And were we the second show on the network? Was Black on Black Cinema preceded us?
Black on Black Cinema came out. I don't know. I think we were the second show.
Okay. I'd like to think that though the Nerdopocalypse obviously came first, that Dense Pixels helped get the ball rolling down the hill.
The catalyst to the network's success.
Yes, to the explosion of the multitude of podcasts that we all do now. And like I said, it's been a fantastic ride. I'm looking forward to continue doing more. And again, thank you to all you guys for listening to us rabble on and talk shit on this industry every single week, because we have a great time doing it and we enjoy doing it for you guys. So that is it for this 300th episode. Again, don't forget to join the group, densepixels.com/fans. Follow all of our accounts on social media. Subscribe to the show wherever you get your podcast. Subscribe to Carrie on Twitch at Suppets Carrie. Subscribe
to
Terrence.
I'm doing Extra Life again this year. So definitely, I think I posted the link in the gaming group. I'll probably post it again this week. Extra Life raises money for children's hospitals around the world. So My money goes to the Johns Hopkins Children's Center in Baltimore. A lot of the people in the fan group have donated big in the last couple years. Happy to announce that I will be playing Pokemon Leaf Green this year. So you can donate to specific incentives, like choosing what starter Pokemon I have to deal with and naming that starter Pokemon. So the last time I did a Pokemon stream for Extra Life, a friend of mine made me play with Chikorita, and he named him Chase Utley. So I think this year he wants to make me play with
Bryce
a Bulbasaur named Bryce Harper. So if you wanna get in on that bid war, definitely throw some money towards Extra Life. Everything's tax deductible and whatnot, but it all goes to help sick kids, and that's the most important part.
Fucking Philadelphia, man.
Yeah.
Terrence is also on Twitch as well. Apparition410 is his username, and of course, if you want to watch me play whenever I do stream, it's on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/densepixels. Thank you to everybody listening, especially if you have been here for the bulk of the ride along the way. We enjoyed the first 300. We will see you for the next 300, and we will see you
Thanks
all
for hosting a good show, Brad.
Yeah. Whatever.
Just take the compliment.
I will take the compliment. Like I said, it's you guys make the show and the listeners make this show what it is. So I'm just I just got my hand on the wheel. That's it. So thank you guys so much for listening, watching. We'll see you all next time.
Thanks.
See ya.
You're watching the Dense Pixels YouTube channel. Click the subscribe button while you're here, and make sure you check out our weekly podcast where we discuss the latest gaming news and our impressions on what games we've been playing.